On the 5th day of October, Halloween gave to me 5 diabolical fledglings, 4 vampire pianists, 3 dead professors, 2 Michelle actresses, and a Radu. Alive at all is nonsense. Like, he should be a crispy critter. He should be good and done. But of course, this is a Subspecies movie, and you just can't kill Radu. So Radu is hibernating. Meanwhile, Michelle, if you recall, in the last episode of Subspecies, Michelle was thrown into the trunk of this car, and Becky and Mel, Michelle's sister Becky, and Mel, the guy from the CIA that Becky might make a little time with, apparently they just get in a car accident. And so this woman comes along, finds Becky and Mel dead. They did not make it out of the original trilogy. They're just, nameless actors dead in a car. And this woman finds Michelle in a body bag in the trunk and opens up the body bag. And as soon as the sunlight hits her, she does the, oh my goodness, it's sunlight. And the lady zips her back up. And it's pretty funny because she zips her up and then unzips it again just to confirm that, in fact, this woman will freak out every time sunlight hits her. And sure enough, the same thing happens again. And so she calls the hospital where she works and takes Michelle there. The hospital is run by a guy named Dr. Niculescu, played by Mihai Dinvale. And Dr. Niculescu is a blood doctor, as fate would have it, and no reason to hide this little tidbit. He is a vampire. It's pretty clear from jump. As soon as he sees her, he's like, oh, she's a vampire. And Anna, the girl who found Michelle and has brought her to the hospital, she's like, oh, no, doctor, that's impossible. And he's like, take it from me. I understand the ways of the vampire. And she's like, but how, doctor? You look so normal with your pale skin and your Dutch boy haircut and your long fangs. And he's like, don't worry, I'm a doctor. Trust what I say. Anyway, this guy tells Michelle, I know you are a vampire, but I can heal your pain. And he ends up ultimately revealing himself to be a vampire, and what he wants is the Bloodstone. And she, of course, Michelle, doesn't have the Bloodstone currently, but I think Radu still has that. And anyway, so the doctor wants the Bloodstone to conduct his experiments and to try to break him of his vampiric curse, and sort of says to Michelle, I can do the same for you if I can heal myself. Great. So in the meantime, Radu is tracking Michelle to Bucharest. And here is where we get a little bit of Serena and Ash from Vampire Journals. And he bombs in on them, and immediately Ash is like, Master. And you're like, oh, it turns out that Ash is the fledgling, the spawn of Radu. And Radu is like, it's a nice place you have built for yourself. I think I'll take it. And so he sees that they have built up this, nightclub, and they've turned his money that he left them into more money. And he's just like, this is all mine now. And Ash is like, okay, you are my master after all, but I mean, I've been working in Bucharest all this time to try to build this up, and I've really putting in the legwork and trying to steer clear of this weirdo vampire hunter named Zachary. That'll happen in a different movie. But, I mean, are you sure you don't want to go back to where you're from? No, I like it here. I'll drool on your furniture for a little while. And then he says, like, I want to go downstairs and live in the basement. And Ash is like, we've got nicer places. And Radu is like, no, I like the basement. So he decides he's going to sleep in their basement. Serena senses a little bit of a power struggle between them and pretty quickly tells Radu on the down low, like, hey, if you want to kill Ash, I can be your consort, and you can take all of this. You can run Bucharest. So there's a little bit of skullduggery there as well. So one thing leads to another. Radu and Serena realize that, Michelle is actually at this institute, but they can't go into the hospital because it's not a public place, I guess, and they have to be invited. And so Radu is like, invite me in to Dr. Acula, which should be his name. Dr. Acula would be a better name for him. And so he asks Dr. Acula if he can come in. And Dr. Acula is like, what's in it for me? And Radu is like, well, I'll give you 3 drops of blood from the Bloodstone. And so Dr. Acula is into it, but it's only a ruse to get him into the courtyard, and then everybody shines some UV lights on him or something and stakes Radu in the heart. And at that point, Michelle is like, my master is being hurt. And so she goes to Radu's aid and essentially pulls... Radu wakes up, immediately kills Dr. Acula. Michelle is defending Radu a little bit, although she really takes a backseat to all of the goings on here. And then Ana is going to be bitten and turned into a vampire. But then Michelle, out of nowhere, cuts his throat. And they end up, pulling his head off. And Ana cleanly decapitates him. They stake his body, take his head, take it outside, put it on a stake or on an iron rung near this tomb, and his head burns up. Michelle hides in a coffin, and they take her out of this cemetery. And Ash and Serena end up trying to chase after them because they've also got the Bloodstone at this point. But the sun has come up, and they are thwarted before Ash can bite Ana on the neck. And so, yeah, and that's it. So Ana and Michelle kind of get away. Radu is clearly dead at this point. I mean, he's got to be dead, right? Oh, there was a Subspecies 5, you said? Oh, well, maybe not. But he is clearly dead. And Ash and Serena kind of end up in the same place where they started. right length for these kinds of movies. I'm a big believer that horror movies, as a rule, should never be longer than 90 minutes. And if they are, they damn well better be done by a master. You know, The Thing is a couple hours long, but that's fine because The Thing is The Thing. You do not need a Halloween movie to be, 110 minutes. That's stupid. And Subspecies is smart enough to get in and get out. So if you haven't seen the Subspecies series, we've got one more to go. But I will say this is one that you can kind of skip. I'm almost of the mind you can really stop at number 2 and you're fine. But this one is very silly. And I think there's a Riff Tracks version of Subspecies 4, which means I kind of need to watch that because I need someone to goof on this movie other than me, because while I was watching it, I was kind of low-key goofing on it as I was watching it, and I don't do that with the original Subspecies. The original Subspecies, I think, is good enough to stand on its own. This movie is very silly, but I had a good time with it. I said about some of the other movies, this is a good one to throw on in the background while you're doing other Halloween stuff. I would say this one is better for if you've got some friends around and you're having a couple of drinks or a smoke or something, and you're, getting a little loose. This is a fun movie to throw on and goof on. It's a good movie for that. Not a great horror movie, but we'll get to actual, honest to goodness, good horror movies later in our 31 days. We've got one more Subspecies movie that came out this very year, the year of our Lord 2023. And that'll wrap it up for the Subspecies stuff, which is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And I'm glad that those of you who have listened have come along for the ride, because I do kind of enjoy these movies. I think Anders Hove really brings it as Radu. I think he's fun in this, and in this and all movies. And I think Denise Duff as Michelle is really trying with this one, but all the trappings of this movie are real dumb. Okay, that's enough about Subspecies 4 Bloodstorm. We will be back tomorrow on the 6th with Subspecies 5 Blood Rise. Filmed, like I said, in 2023, or released in 2023, which blows my mind that there is a Subspecies movie that came out this very year, this calendar year. That's insane. That should not happen. But I guess that is the world we live in, where there is no longer new IP. There is just mining the old IP, and if you're gonna mine Subspecies, I'm kind of okay with it. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Have yourselves a wonderfully spooky day out there. I hope you're having a great beginning to your October. We got 26 more movies to go, so we're just getting started. The Halloween season is really kicking off now, and I'm having a great time. I'm about to start putting up all my decorations and everything. It's so exciting. I love this time of year. And